In this episode of The Design Tourist, I explore Cuenca in southern Ecuador for its compelling mix of history, culture, and nature. Cuenca is populated with artisans, Panama hat makers, and well-preserved colonial architecture, which has earned its historic center a designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. My journey takes me into the heart of Ecuador's indigenous heritage, where tradition meets contemporary craftsmanship. I'm Karen LeBlanc, a travel journalist exploring beyond the guidebooks. Join me across continents, cultures, and landscapes. Meet the storytellers, artisans, and tradition bearers who shape the soul of a place. Explore iconic architecture, ancient traditions, and living history, from cultural curiosities to celebrations of the human spirit. Discover the threads that connect us all and different ways of being and seeing the world. The world is big, life is short, so join the journey. Cuenca is Ecuador's third largest city, home to 350,000 residents. The city's name comes from the Spanish word for basin. Cuenca sits on a plateau at 8,400 feet above sea level, surrounded by the Andes Mountains, where 4 rivers flow through the city. I traveled to Cuenca from Quito, Ecuador's capital. The two cities are 290 miles apart, about an 8-hour drive or a 1-hour flight from Cuenca's Mariscal Lamar Airport, a gateway to the southern Andes. My guide, Wilson Galarza, was born in Cuenca. He's also a naturalist guide and he speaks 4 languages. His enthusiasm to show me his country is so energizing after my early morning flight. Rose cultivation surrounds Cuenca, coloring the city's markets with vibrant blooms for sale by local flower vendors. So I start my trip by stopping to smell the roses at the city's largest flower market. Plaza de Flores in the city's historic center is filled with flower vendors offering a wide variety of fresh flowers, including roses, orchids, lilies, and more. The market operates daily, providing both locals and visitors with the opportunity to purchase beautiful floral arrangements. Roses in Ecuador represent $1 billion in exports. Ecuador is a major rose cultivator. There are 3 areas of the country that produce roses, and a lot of them you can see here. The fragrant, sweet scent of roses hangs thick in the air as I wind through the stands admiring the extra long stems and technicolor blooms.
As I mentioned, roses are one of the top 10 exports of our country, and it has represented in the last years about $1 billion per year for the economy of Ecuador. We have been exporting approximately 8 million roses per day.
Next to the market, people stand in line to purchase a special tea made by the Carmelite nuns at a shop connected to the Carmelite Monastery. The popular drink is called agua de pítima.
They use many flowers, herbs. It's a big bunch of flowers and herbs. The main ingredient that they use, we know that, is valerian. The weird smell of the tea is the valerian roots, or the skin that covers the valerian roots. So the nuns say this is good for everything, even for a broken heart.
Calle Larga anchors the historic heart of Cuenca, and it's lined with colonial buildings and cafes, earning the area a UNESCO World Heritage Site designation. As we stroll around, we stop to sample a few Ecuadorian sweets and treats, including what looks like ice cream, but it's actually Espumilla, a meringue-like dessert made of whipped egg whites, sugar, and fruit pulp, often guava, and served on cones. These desserts for sale in the market offer a glimpse into Ecuador's culinary traditions, ancestral recipes, and agricultural resources that work together to create things like this, a glob of what looks like brown taffy.
So Melcocha is one of the very traditional sweets of Ecuador. This is from sugarcane. It's basically pure sugarcane juice. The sugarcane juice is boiled for many hours until it becomes more viscous. Okay?
It's like taffy, right? You can pull it.
Yeah. Okay, so if you wanna...
A little sweet. You can taste the sugarcane. Chewy, very chewy. I head to Plaza San Francisco as blue ceramic church domes come into view from the Immaculate Conception Cathedral, also known as the New Cathedral, Cuenca's iconic landmark. Vendor stalls line the square's perimeter, selling locally made goods including textiles, ceramics, and traditional crafts.
We are in San Francisco Square, and that is San Francisco Church. The Franciscans were the first religious order that came to Ecuador in 1534 when the Spanish arrived here. So that's the beginning of what we call the colonial times. The Spanish stayed here until 1822, when we got the Independence War, the 24th of May in 1822 in Quito. And we got the independence from the Spanish.
I walk through a narrow alleyway with hanging lights known as Santa Ana Street. The pedestrian walkway dates back to the city's founding, and it followed a grid pattern typical of Spanish colonial urban planning.
The main reason why Cuenca was declared by the UNESCO as Cultural World Heritage in 1999 was because we preserved the original plan of it. Yeah, so in other words, the streets are on the same place that they used to be in the colonial times.
It's Sunday in Cuenca's historic center, and the streets are filled with local growers and farmers selling foods, fresh produce, and palo santo, holy wood sticks burned to give off smoke to heal and cleanse the soul. I'm getting my spirit cleansed. A woman sits on the sidewalk with a basket full of eggs. She's selling quail, pigeon, turkey, duck, and goose eggs, which I'm learning are popular ingredients in food and drinks.
Especially people like to do is a drink, yeah? Drinks with eggs. So they can mix the eggs with fruit juices, like a very common one is orange with eggs, yeah? Or carrot with eggs. But also another nice one, I won't tell you.
Do we get to try it?
Because you have to try it. If I tell you now, maybe you don't try it when I let you try. Yeah? So we will try it later.
I see a raw egg drink in my
Muchas gracias. Que pase bonita, señora.
A band played in one of the city's main squares. The park is named after a 17-year-old war hero of Ecuador's independence from Spanish colonial rule. As I stroll the streets admiring the colorful colonial architecture, I notice many of the locals are wearing straw hats to protect themselves from the harsh sun that shines at the equator. Ecuadorians call them tequila hats. However, the rest of the world knows them as Panama hats. Despite its name, the Panama hat is an Ecuadorian product, and Cuenca is the top producer of the Panama hat. The city is home to generations of skilled weavers who use toquilla straw to make sun hats using ancestral techniques. Panama hat weaving is recognized as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO.
Cuenca was a little city in the middle of nowhere, like I was telling you before, you know. So they say, people from Cuenca say, let's bring some toquilla straw weavers. Toquilla straw hat weavers, so we can learn this kind of business. And that's what happened. They brought 3 weavers from the coast, and they started to teach the people in Cuenca how to make these hats. People loved it. A few years later, in 1844, they established a school to teach how to make Panama hats.
Panama hat production brought prosperity to Cuenca during the 19th century, elevating the city's architecture and standard of living. Homero Arteaga is one of the country's top Panama hat companies. Cuenca was a major exporter of these woven sun hats to Panama, where workers wore them during the construction of the Panama Canal. These Ecuadorian-produced hats became known as Panama hats. Changing fashion trends, coupled with an export tax, led to the decline of Ecuador's Panama hat industry.
But in 1954, the country created a tax to the export of the hats, and it was at 25%. And that was a big thing, a big problem in the hat industry. Plus, Japan and Italy started to do mass production in a huge way. That was even a little bit before.
Even today, Cuenca's weavers work at home making the hats with unfinished brims, which they sell to Homero Ortega. At the factory, workers add finishing details to each hat.
She's making a simple Panama hat, okay? This hat, when it's finished, will cost some $35.
Panama hats range in price from the low end of $35 to upward of $10,000. The thickness of the toquilla straw determines the price. The finer the fiber, the tighter the weave, the more expensive the hat.
They will make the hats up to this point. The hat will be sold to the middlemen. That has been a tradition for 2 centuries.
During the finishing process, the factory washes and bleaches or dyes each hat, then dries the hat for several days. The hats lose shape in the process, so workers steam press them back into form. Over the years, the Panama hat has fallen in and out of fashion, but has maintained its star power as a favorite among many celebrities. With so many different silhouettes and embellishments, from bows to bands, there's a Panama hat that speaks to each individual's personality. So I'm shopping for my signature style. As I try on different styles, I learned that the proper way to wear the Panama hat is with the brim straight ahead or down, but never pointed up. That night, back at Hotel Cruz del Vado, my home base while exploring Cuenca, I discovered a secret window in the bathroom that by happenstance aligns to offer a picture-perfect view of the new cathedral that I encountered earlier in the market. The cathedral's glowing domes against the dark sky is a dramatic sight to behold and the inspiration for countless paintings and pieces of art. The following day, I joined Wilson for a hike at Cajas National Park, located 19 miles west of Cuenca. The park is 13,200 feet above sea level, but I've been in Ecuador for several days, so I'm not worried about acclimating. Altitude sickness is a thing in Ecuador, especially for people like me who live in low-lying Florida.
It's one of the most important protected areas of the country. In Ecuador, we have more than 60 protected areas, which represents like 22% of Ecuador. And the Cajas National Park is one of them. The size of the park is 28,544 hectares, which is about 70,000 acres. In other words, if you go from east to west in the park, you have like 15 miles approximately.
The Cajas National Park is a bird watcher's paradise with over 150 bird species recorded in the park. Birders worldwide come to the park in hopes of spotting the violet-throated metaltail, a hummingbird that only lives in the park. Cajas National Park is surrounded by rugged peaks and blanketed with more than 270 glacial lakes created by ice cap erosion thousands of years ago. Nature lovers can explore a wide variety of flora, fauna, and trees, many endemic to the region, including the polylepis, ancient trees adapted to high altitudes. We finish our hike with a cup of agua de viejas, a traditional tea Wilson prepared using herbs he grew in his garden. The herbal tea is consumed as both an ancestral custom in the Andes and for its medicinal properties. We head back to Cuenca for lunch at Taistos Restaurant, which looks and feels like I'm visiting an old colonial home with a cellar of special sauces. Juan Carlos Solano is both the owner and head chef. His cooking style remains true to his ancestral roots. Chef Solano says he doesn't cook high cuisine. He cooks and serves pure food in its form and flavor. We dine, sharing large dishes. In Ecuador, they call it Pampa Mesa style. Chef Solano learned to cook from his mother, creating dishes with flavors that synchronize, from sizzling shrimp sautéed in sauces to dazzling desserts plated on artwork that Chef Solano paints with sauces. Tiestos conveys Ecuador's heritage and culture through cuisine. The following day, I head into the mountains on horseback at Centro Equestre Bella Vista. The family-operated equestrian training facility offers guided rides along trails in the Andes Mountains on well-bred, trained, and cared-for horses. I made friends with my horse, Melcocha, a purebred champion horse, as I saddled up. Sebastian Donoso owns the center and is internationally known for training champion equestrians, including his own children.
She's great. She's a purebred Arabian. And these horses you can ride Western or English, both styles. Okay. They're so used to, they're well trained. So if you want to ride Western like John Wayne with both hands in the same hand, it's fine. Or if you want to ride English like this, it works. Or you can ride Western.
Together, we head out on the Inca Trail, one of 9 different trails Sebastian maintains in the mountains. The Andes Mountains run the entire length of the country from north to south and are divided into 2 parallel ranges.
So we're riding along the Andean Trail up the mountain. We've got a baby horse following us along.
The Incas used this mountain as a lookout post to survey the valley below and defend their territories. In the 18th century, a French geodesic mission set up surveys on this mountain to pinpoint the precise location of the equator. Today, we ride past peaceful pastures of dairy cows grazing and friendly farmers and lots of dogs as a baby horse from the equestrian center trots alongside our caravan.
The main activity is farming. They use for corn and for potatoes. But the other activity is milk, it's dairy farms. Dairy farms, and the good thing is the altitude. The milk up here has a lot of fat because of the altitude.
We ride through forested areas into 2 clearings that reveal the valley below. Along the way, we pause to greet mountain bikers sharing these trails that Sebastian maintains. Exploring on horseback offers an up-close, soul-stirring encounter with the natural beauty of the Ecuadorian Andes.
And you can go to very, very unique towns. You go to towns that have been kind of away from the civilizations. They have their own culture and they have their own characteristics. So that's what I want to share with the people. If you go by car, you go to the same cities or same spots. But with the horses, you go to trails just for horses.
After our trail ride, our chef at Hotel Cruz del Vado and his staff welcome us back with lunch, traditional Ecuadorian dishes. One of my favorites is humita, made with white corn steamed with corn leaves and served either mashed or fried. Chef Sebastian also cooked up an Ecuadorian dish with a Louisiana twist in honor of my ancestral roots.
So, actually from the specialty from Louisiana.
Hi.
So what we have here is a fish etouffee, actually, that we did. So we actually combine it with a quinoa, so to make it a little bit of the fusion between the Ecuadorian product and a Louisiana taste on it.
Oh, I got to tell you, this is personalized service because Sebastian took the time to look at my passport and saw that I am from Louisiana and saw that my name is LeBlanc. so surmised that I had some Cajun roots, and then took it upon himself to craft this custom dish in honor of my Louisiana roots. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's very kind.
Well, bon appetit.
After lunch, I say goodbye to Sebastian's family as his son hands me a clue to my next experience. I'm on a hero's journey with Art Experiences Ecuador. The itinerary is completely unknown to me, only revealed by a series of clues that unfold throughout the day. A reward on the fly. Your castle in the sky has been carved out of where the lava lies. And my clue came in this. My black ceramic pot leads me to Taller José Encalada and Hijos, a pottery workshop, showroom, and personal home of master ceramicist José Encalada. The multi-generational home was built in 1896 and has its original rooms used to prep clay and fire pieces. José works with red and white clay from the Amazon jungles and shows me the ancestral way of prepping clay for the pottery wheel. He swings a huge wooden mallet to crush the clay into powder and then mixes the powder with water. That was before the invention of this mechanized grinder. This was hard work too, I gotta tell you. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Pesado? ¿Pesa mucho?
Sí, duro.
Duro! Muy duro! Now the clue is beginning to make sense. That little black pot hints at José's signature black ceramics. He fires the red clay at 900 degrees, then takes the piece out and quickly buries it in sawdust, where a chemical reaction turns the clay black, a permanent color and a natural way of dyeing clay. Next, I try out my skills at the pottery wheel. José shows me how to spin the pottery wheel with my feet while using my hands to sculpt the wet glob of clay into a form. I feel as awkward as I look, trying to coax the clay into a vase. Now, eventually, my ball of clay takes shape as I begin to find a rhythm at the pottery wheel. I'm proud of myself, my very first piece of ceramic art. And I have the hands to show. I have the hands to prove it. Potters and ceramicists worldwide come to José's workshop to learn about his black ceramics technique and to collaborate on art. Cuenca is known for its concentration of ceramic artisans and glazed pottery works. So let's see where we're going next. Here is a clue. Looks like a piece of copper. Bending wire. Who would conspire to create a flower from fire? My clue leads me to a metalsmith workshop in Cuenca. Marco Machado makes copper crafts and jewelry. He's known for his intricate woven copper baskets. We work by candlelight because there's no electricity. At the time I was traveling, Ecuador was experiencing one of the most prolonged droughts in recent history. The government was rationing electricity usage because the country runs on hydropower. He weaves metal into a basket. Marco is teaching me how to make a copper rose. I cut flower petals from the thin copper sheets, then I hammer them into rose petals, arranging the layers to solder using an open flame until a rosebud appears.
Es todo.
Okay.
Esto va al agua. Es un agua de boras.
And here's the final product. A handmade copper rose forged with lots of fire. The next morning, we drive into the Andes Mountains to St. Bartholomew, a picturesque village in the Azuay province of southern Ecuador. It's approximately 19 miles southeast of Cuenca. The village resides in the Andean highlands at an elevation of 9,180 feet above sea level, offering stunning mountainous landscapes and a temperate climate. San Bartholomew is renowned for its rich tradition of handcrafted guitar making. Local artisans have been producing high-quality guitars for generations, drawing musicians worldwide in search of these musical masterpieces. I had the privilege of visiting the workshop of José Uyaguari high up in the Andes Mountains. José makes guitars from native woods in the mountains that produce a rich sound. He crafts every detail by hand, from the inlay designs to stringing the instruments. José spends more than 1 week crafting a single guitar. It's a skill he learned from his father and part of Ecuador's musical heritage that José is seeking to preserve. Musicians worldwide learn of José's workshop by word of mouth and find their way to his shop in the mountains to custom order or purchase one of his guitars, which are prized for their rich sound and artistry. Guitar making is closely tied to the identity of St. Bartholomew and contributes to the town's economy. José's workshop is part of the Ruta de las Guitarras, a cultural and artisanal designation highlighting the region's rich tradition of handcrafted guitar making.
So José has been doing these guitars all his life. And something interesting about this is that the traditions like these are going to disappear if they don't really get some support. In order to make a simple guitar, he will take about 1 week, and that guitar will be sold in about $130. And the investment for that guitar will be about $70. So he will basically make like $70 in 1 week. So the only way to keep these traditions alive is trying to support them like we are doing now. Yeah, by visiting him, we are going to support him in an economic way as well.
And if it were not for people like him who were passionate about their craft, this would die. It would be a craft that would die.
Yes. Actually, he's one of those few examples of the luthiers from the area that decided to continue with this. Most of the others already stopped doing it. This definitely will die if we don't do something.
The Uyaguari family and other luthiers along the route have earned national and international acclaim for their craftsmanship. I picked out a handcrafted guitar for my son, who plays and performs. It'll become a family heirloom and a muse for the next generation of my family musicians.
The US dollar is the official currency in Ecuador, which makes it really convenient for US travelers.
Most of the artisans and workshops in the Ecuadorian mountains don't accept credit cards. My advice, have sufficient cash on hand when traveling throughout the countryside. While in San Bartholomew, we stop by Doña Selmira's house for tea time. She invites me to her garden to help her pick herbs to brew agua frescas, a traditional tea popular with many of Ecuador's indigenous groups.
This is ataco. This is the essential ingredient of the tea that she's making for us. This is what gives the tea its color. This is the part right here that she uses to make the tea.
Doña Selmira invites me to drink tea in her kitchen and snack on a traditional treat made of corn flour with sugarcane molasses.
Here's the final product, agua de frescos. Fresh from her garden.
I leave St. Bartholomew and head to a nearby town, Chortaleg, known for a distinct style of jewelry.
We're in the town of Chortaleg. Now, this is a city populated with jewelry makers, and they're known for making silver filigree jewelry.
Chortaleg is about an hour's drive from Cuenca. The town is populated with generations of silver filigree jewelry makers and many workshops and stores selling filigree jewelry. Even the streetlights pay homage to Chortaleg's filigree pedigree, with large silver filigree earring sculptures hanging from the lampposts.
Bienvenidos, mi nombre es Flavio Jara. Soy la segunda generación de la familia que conoce esta técnica y somos los que enseñamos en el pueblo 90 años atrás.
I met up with Flavio Jara, a skilled silversmith closely tied to Tortoleg's claim to fame. Flavio shows me how to make the intricately detailed silver jewelry, which begins as silver pellets formed from silver bars that he melts and pours into molds to form thin silver wires.
So after the silver is made into thread, difícil.
Vamos dando vueltas a la filigrana así.
Flavio then twists the thin wires together to get the fine silver thread that will fill the thicker frame, forming the shape of the piece. Flavio then curls the thin wire into little circles, filling the silver metal frame of the design. It's delicate work, requiring focus and attention to detail, all skills Flavio learned from his father and his grandfather.
So I found the perfect pair of earrings, silver filigree, orchids, which are symbolic of Ecuador. I'll take these. ¿Y cuánto le debo?
De estos, vamos a ver.
Ay, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Later that day, we stopped for lunch at a market filled with kiosks, and Wilson dared me to try a beer served the Ecuadorian way, blended with raw egg and honey.
Okay.
I can give
Cheers.
I will say egg beer is an acquired taste, much like another popular Ecuadorian delicacy, roasted guinea pig. Now, I admit that seeing guinea pigs cooking on open pits quashed my culinary curiosity, so I took a hard pass on sampling this popular source of protein. That evening, I returned to Hotel Cruz del Vado and unwind on a self-guided tour of the hotel's extensive collection of Ecuadorian artwork. The Boutique Hotel is one of several Art Hotel Ecuador properties intentionally located in historic buildings. The hotel dates back 130 years. My room opens to a balcony overlooking the river, and I fully take advantage of the view and ambiance. Each morning, I greet the day with a cup of coffee overlooking the riverfront. As I traveled throughout Ecuador, I often heard the word syncretism when describing the country and the culture. It means the amalgamation of two cultures, and you'll find this cultural blending throughout South America. With globalization and modernization, many traditional crafts face the risk of fading into obscurity. Cuenca is firmly rooted in its history, its heritage, and its ancestral knowledge as a safekeeper of culture, craft, and traditions. I invite you to explore Ecuador's many fascinating faces, from its cosmopolitan cities to the Andes Mountains, the Amazon jungles, and the Galapagos Islands. And if you do, make sure you spend some time in Cuenca to connect with its culture bearers. Until the Design Tourist travels again, stay curious, stay inspired, and never lose your sense of adventure.